Welcome to the Wisdom of 21 Winning Women and Their Lessons. My name is Reverend Joy Dore, and I'll be your host today. The purpose of this summit is to empower, to inspire, educate women by showcasing the diverse experiences and wisdom of 21 accomplished women who have achieved success in their respective fields. The summit aims to create a platform for collaboration, learning, and networking, fostering a supportive community for women striving for excellence. Lastly, help women embrace their winning moments, regardless of how small or big, towards a successful and fulfilling life. And this time we are looking to empower, excel, embrace, and elevate. And here in the studio today, we have Carolyn A Warren. And let me tell you a little about her. She is the founder and CEO of Destined for Success Coaching and Leadership Development. And as a certified Maxwell leadership speaker, trainer, teacher, and coach, Carolyn helps women embrace their unique strengths and amplify their leadership skills while setting clear boundaries in their personal and professional realm. And hey, once again, I want to say thank you for joining us today and also welcome you, dearest Carolyn, for this awesome year summit. And I just want you to open up by letting us know who you are, how did you earn it, how did you learn it, and what brought all this, how did you achieve all that you've achieved in your life so far?
Well, thank you, Pastor Joy. It is a real privilege for me to be with the women, the wisdom of 21 winning women. And, one of the things that I always say is that we all have a story, we all have a journey, and we've all been through a process that God has been taking us through in order to bring out the best in us. My journey has been an exciting journey. I am now in another season of life and doing some things that I never thought I would do. My husband and I pastored a church in Columbus, Ohio for over 30 years. I am a wife, a mother. My husband and I have been married. It will soon be 53 years. We have three daughters, four grandchildren, and two great grandchildren. And so I have been much of my journey. I started out it wasn't on my bucket list, but it was God sort of pulling me and stretching me and saying, this is the direction that I want you to go in. And in that entire process, getting to the place where I could hear God clearly, and then also say, yes, I'm going to go in that direction. So I never, wanted to be in ministry. When my husband came to me and said that the Lord had spoken to him about starting a church, my first question was, well, what does that mean for me? And he said, all I need for you to do is to show up and to come to church. And I said, okay, I can do that. Well, lo and behold, during that entire process, being obedient to God eventually just helped me to see that my responsibility was just not to show up, but that there was a gift and a grace that He had given me, and that was to be utilized and activated in ministry. As I said, we did ministry for over 30 years, and then my husband retired. We retired from full-time ministry 4 years ago, and that was a scary time because we were venturing out into a new area, and it was a new season for us, but it has been the most exciting time for me because God said there's still more inside of you, and there are some gifts and talents that have laid latent, and I want to activate them. So, in the process of 4 years, I've started a business. I do executive coaching. I've written 4 books. I have learned, technology and just really blossomed in many ways simply because I've been on a journey of being obedient to God. And I think that in order for us to really win, in order for us to really be successful, it is first of all making sure that we get a clear understanding of what God is saying to us in the season that we're in. And then second is being obedient and venturing out. It's almost like going on being on a ship and you don't know where you're going and you don't know what resources are there, but you are trusting God that you're going to have a successful voyage. All of your needs are going to be met. You're going to learn some things about him and yourself along the journey, and it is going to be exciting. So that's a little bit about what I have been doing, and the journey that I've been on, and I'd love, as we go along, to share some of the specifics in some of those areas.
So, oh my God, you bless me. I just want to, like tell everybody watching us this hour, like, do you know who you have in the house? Number one, I could call her somebody who can be a marriage coach as well. And in the summit so far, I haven't seen anyone that have many years in marriage. Like she's more than all of us in this summit. And I'm telling you, if you're a wife watching us right now, pay attention. Because I'm going to ask her some questions that I just want her to tell us, like 3 secrets that have kept her marriage. This is just out of line. We're actually going out of but I just felt led, like, hey, what is your 3 secrets? I have questions that is business, but right now we're going to get to those wives watching us. Hey, this is exclusively for you listening. What are the 3 secrets that have kept your marriage for 53 years, you said?
Yeah,
53
in
years.
April.
Oh my God, I want to hear it. Give us those 3 top secrets. Like,
Excuse me.
that's okay.
The thing that has kept our relationship together, and I want to preface this by saying that we have been married for almost 53 years, and we still enjoy one another.
I love
We are still
that.
friends. We still are the best of friends, and so the relationship isn't one where we have just born under and it's like, okay, I can't leave or whatever. It has been 53 years, and I'm not saying that everything has been perfect, but what I am saying is that we would do this all over again. And I think that is the most important thing.
Important thing, yeah.
Um, There's a lot that we have learned over the years, and you can probably note that, I am a very strong woman and I have a very strong husband, and I really appreciate his strength. And the thing that has really kept us together is that we realize that our marriage was a testimony of who God was and what he wanted to do in the earth through 2 individuals who are very unique in their own way, who have their own strengths, who were created to be leaders and to have a voice in the body of Christ. We realized that our coming together was of God, number one, and number two is that as long as we kept God at the center of this relationship, we would be successful. And part of that meant that we had to recognize that our marriage was part of our ministry. It was our ministry. And if we did not have a successful marriage, any ministry that we could do individually or even, as a couple would be less effective. That what would really set us apart is the relationship that we had built, the relationship that we modeled after operating the principles of the word of the Lord, and bringing our lives into submission to the word of the Lord. And that meant that our relationship had to be the first priority. And so that has been what has motivated us. That meant that sometimes, we always endeavored to go to, if there was a disagreement, what does the Bible say about this? What are the principles in the word of the Lord that we can apply to this? And if we were at an impasse, asking the Holy Spirit to speak to one or both of us as to what do we need to do to move forward. I think that we've done a great job in that. We've only had, in the 53 years that we've been married, we had one counseling session, and that was in the first 2 to 3 years of our relationship. Otherwise, we have both learned how to submit to the Lord, and it wasn't about being right, but it was being right in right relationship with the Lord, and also with this person that we felt that God had brought to us. And so I would say that has been our greatest joy in the relationship, seeing how God has worked within both of us, how he has helped us to, he has expanded our thinking, helping us to learn how to forgive, how to love on a greater level. And one of the greatest blessings that we have at this moment in time is our 3 children. We have 3 daughters, as I said, and all of them are serving the Lord, not because, we told them, we raised them up to have a relationship with the Lord, but each of them has made their own decision to walk with the Lord. They all 3 went away to college, and they came back to serve in our church, not because we asked them, but because they wanted to, or they felt that the level and quality of the word of the Lord that they could hear in their father's house, they were not hearing it somewhere else. So they all made a decision to come back. And one of our greatest joys, as I said, is to hear them say, I am so proud of my mother and father, because what they taught in the pulpit is what they lived at home. And they set an example for us. And, and they'll tell people, you see them out, and, it's evident that they love one another and respect one another. That is how they are behind closed doors. We see the love that they have for one another, respect that my mother has for my father, and the love that he has for our mother. And so, we've been blessed that now we don't have to toot our own horn. They toot it for us. And so we're blessed.
Yes, for you guys did the work. The parents did the work. So now it's easy for them to talk about it. Just because, hey, kids of these days, maybe my age, their age, my younger ones here, you can't fake it. And they are not ready to let people know that they're gonna tell the people exactly what happened.
Right.
I'm telling you. So I love that. I love that. I just want to tell all our audience, if I like, okay, this is a business call, this is an expert call, but hey, this is about winning women. This is like you are winning in all areas, and spiritually, physically, what I call financially, you are winning in all areas. And that is why we are growing leaders who are not just going to be leaders out there, but also leaders in the home. And that was why I kind of like, took that time to ask you. And if you ask me, the major part of what you said is building your marriage in the Word of God. And the second one is submitting to God. But once you submit to God, everything is easy. And you also said something that blessed me. You say that when there's any talk that is not, that want to go out of way, how I understood it, what you will ask yourself is, what did the Word of God say about this? I love that. That's like, wow.
And when there is, when you find yourself in a disagreement or being, a contentious situation, all of us think that we're right. I mean, on any given day, whatever is going on, we all think that we're right. But it's more, it goes beyond being right. It's about aligning with the truth. And there are principles of wisdom and truth and relationship and communication that is in the word of the Lord that, we would be foolish not to take advantage of it. I wrote a journal and it's called the Self-Care Journal for Successful Women. And one of the reasons that I wrote that is that I think that sometimes we endeavor to compartmentalize our lives. So it's, I'm spiritual here, and then I have these other things that I have to do. I have to make some money, so I have a career, and I have an interest in this, and somebody wants to pay me for that information. But really, they are one and the same. God created, I am someone who loves to research things out, who loves reading, who loves digging in and getting details and finding solutions to problems. That's how God made me. And he made me that way in order for me to have some tangible resources and tools and behaviors that the spirit that lives within me could make use of. So it's not that they are two separate things. They are all, one of the reasons that I am a coach is because God made me a good listener. He made me with the ability to see the gifting in people and to motivate and to inspire them. That's how he made me. I didn't make that up. Now, yes, you can get training and gain skills in order to become better at it. And that's one of the things that I encourage and endeavor to help women to do is to anyone, but our audience is women, is help them to find out those innate skills and abilities that God put within you. Those are going to be the ones that he will, if we are in alignment with him, he will sort of draw on and pull on and activate so that you can have a much greater impact than just doing it on your own without the spirit that lives within you. So, the fact that I wrote 4 books in the last 4 years, that was not on my bucket list. I had no idea. There was nothing in me that wanted to write a book. I only wrote the books because God said, my husband and I, we were on vacation, and as I said, I'm an avid reader. And so I was sitting by the pool and getting ready to, read my book. And, I used to love Pepsi. So I had my Pepsi and, so I'm all set and ready to go. And then I'm sitting there and I hear, I want you to write a book. Well, I know it's not me because I don't want to write a book, but I recognize that it's the voice of the Lord. And so the second thing was, I want you to write a book. This is what the name of it is supposed to be. And these are some topics that I want you to write and cover. And so, of course, I've got my pen and some paper. So I'm writing all this down. And in fact, the only paper I could find in my purse was an envelope. So I wrote all these things on an envelope. And then when I finished, I looked at it and I thought, gosh, I know this isn't me, but God, why would anyone want to read a book about my life? I'm nobody famous. I am nobody of consequence. So, why would you ask me to write a book? And so, whenever we hear the voice of the Lord, we sort of rationalize, try and figure it out in our human mind and our brain. And so the only thing I could come up with is that, okay, God just wants me to see if I'll be obedient and do it. And so I thought, okay, I'll do it because I'm an obedient person. I like rules. Tell me what I need to do and I'll do it. But the title that he gave me was The Women at the Table, Ordinary Women, Ordinary Moments, and Extraordinary Impact. And what I went through the process of learning how to write a book and, going through how to do all the things that helps you to take an idea and make it something that is actually concrete. And I realized that God had a greater message, that he was really, as I say in the book, it is about helping women understand the value and the influence that they can have, the significance that they can have, that has nothing to do with your title, how much money you make, who you associate with, or where you live. And that is so many times that is how we evaluate our value is, do I have on the right dress? Do I have the shoes? Do I have the right purse? Is my hair looking just like, the latest, whatever the latest is. When
Tell
we,
me.
sort of conform ourselves to that image, then we feel like, okay, we're okay. But God is saying, no, you're not okay because of what you put on the inside. You're okay because of what I put on the inside of you. And so, the book is all about helping women to understand what's on the inside of you. What has God put there that he wants you to develop, and he wants you to grow so that you can fulfill his purpose and not the one that the world tells you, you have to fulfill.
Yes.
And in regards to that, it is about I talk about 7 women who had impact on my life, and that and the title, The Women at the Table, these were women who were my mother's friends, and they sat around her kitchen table and talked and conversed, and because of that they had impact on me. And so the underlying theme is that we as women can have impact and have significance one conversation at a time. These were 7 women who had impact on my life just by having a conversation. None of them were None of them went to college. None of them were rich, but they changed my life because they
Yes.
included me in their lives and decided to
Yes.
have a conversation. So
Okay.
some of the what we are some of the healing that needs to take place in the lives of women, it's in another woman who has gone there, who's been there, who can, sort of take you by the hand and give you a word of wisdom, or just to stand with you and hear your story and let you cry or whatever. And this is just not, something that we do on Sunday in a church. But if you own a business, if you are an entrepreneur, if you are in the C-suite, have those conversations that empower another woman, or let's broaden it and say another individual, to understand and activate the gifts and talents that are in them so that they can fulfill their destiny. we spent so much time talking about our own destiny and what we are going to do and who I am and what I'm able to accomplish. But really, our greatest legacy is in empowering others. So if you are all that great and you don't empower somebody else to be great, then you are really what you have built will end in your lifetime. And the goal is not for it to end in my lifetime. I don't want what I've built, what I have created, what God has put in me to end when I take my last breath. But it needs to be transferred. It needs to empower. It needs to be poured into someone else. And it doesn't matter where you are in your station of life. If you are an excellent homemaker, a great mother, then you need to be raising and speaking into the lives of other mothers. If
Mm.
you are a millionaire, you need to be speaking into the lives of other men and women and helping them to be millionaires or go beyond what it is that you have accomplished. And so that is, sort of my rallying cry, what I'm passionate about. I've always been passionate about helping people to grow because, and being their own individual, we spend so much time trying to be like everybody else.
Mm.
I'll make this statement and then I'll give it back to you. But
Problem. Oh God, I'm
Uh,
blessed.
but about 10 years ago, I was trying to make a decision. At the time, my husband and I, we were doing a lot of traveling. And, when we were traveling, it just seemed like, my hair was couldn't figure out what to do with it. You're going into different, countries, different climates and all this kind of stuff. And so, and I'm not one who really enjoys, you know, wigs and weaves and stuff like that because, my head itches. And so yeah, I'm just uncomfortable. And so I thought, okay, I need to figure out a way
Yes.
that, a style that will allow me to forget about my hair and be about
Mm.
what I'm supposed to be doing. And so I
Yes.
decided, okay, I'm gonna do locks.
Mm.
Well, you would have thought that I had said that I was going to, rob the state bank or whatever, because there was all these reasons why, as a Christian woman, I shouldn't have locks. And, I decided, you know what, I'm going to do it anyway, because I don't want to distract from what I'm supposed to be doing, worrying about, what my hair looks like. But part of that is that we have created this criteria of what is appropriate. And so, you have to meet a certain standard. And for me, not for anybody else, but for me, this became a way that it freed me up to live more um, uh, with less concern, to be less concerned about what I look like. And, and so that's where we have to figure out is what has God genuinely put within me that now I'm trying to get out. I'm trying to make it live. I'm trying to fulfill that assignment. And anything, even if it's a hairstyle that's getting in the way, that I'm spending too much time worrying about, then I need to release that so that I can have the freedom to be and do what God has called me to do. So it's not about this outward appearance. It's not about, you know, uh, your dress. It's not about your shoes. It's not about all that kind of stuff. It's about how can I activate what God has put inside of me? And then not only do you activate it, but you develop it, you learn, as much as you can about how to be, if he's called you to be a speaker, you just don't say, okay, I'm a great speaker, but you want to
Mm-hmm.
be the best speaker. You
Mm-hmm.
want to be um, the person that is not only to impact 10 people, but 100 people or whatever your grace is. If he's given you the grace to impact 1,000 people, then learn how to do 1,000 people. but it's not about you. It's about how to release what God has put within you.
I can. I can sit down here like the whole entire day and get all those wisdom. This is what I call wisdom. So, hey, audience, what more question do you have? Oh my God. Like you took time and you gave a lot of wisdom talk, I call it. And I'm so glad that you're here because you just actually explained the whole summit. Like when this was framing, it framed with everything you said about that individual who is worried about a lot of, the things that are hindering them, the things that are stopping them. Some of them, maybe they can't talk. They believe, oh, nobody can understand what I'm saying. People like me, like, okay, you sure I can do this? Is it a right time? But you hearing in your spirit, this is the time. Just trust me in it. And there's a word you keep using that everybody need to hear today. Obedient, obedient. You just keep calling that word like, if you have not come to that place, even in your career, it's not even only spiritual. Like, because most of the things we do, number one, we are living spirit. And both in business that we run in motherhood, if talking to women, and being a wife, everything we do starts from the spirit, which is you. Then every other thing flow from there. Now, the ability to be obedient quickly, to hear that voice that's okay, it's time to go. It's time to do this. It's time will actually help you accelerate whatever it is you're doing and get it to a better place. I'm telling you, you just took time and explained everything that I had a self-talk on for days before I said, okay, yes, Lord, yeah, let's do this. And I'm so happy that you did it. Yes, I have some questions I'm going to ask you, but the one I'm still going to ask you, even as you've explained everything, is somebody, you're watching, you're like, okay, the lady has so much things, in her portfolio. This is a coach that been through it all. Remember, being married for 53 years already, the age of marriage is older than me. So there's nothing. I call them the Deborahs of now, the people like Nomis, who knows how to send their daughter-in-law, and what to do, how to position, how to, do things the right way. So you got the best doctors in the house today, women of God. So, and the first question I'm going to ask you is, as a coach, now we're going professional, what common challenges do you often observe in individuals seeking leadership development? And how do you guide them in overcoming these challenges? What?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
What common challenges do you often observe in individuals seeking leadership development?
Okay. Well, the first thing we have to recognize is that everyone has leadership potential. Everyone has the ability to lead, but we have a different, we may have a different grace of our potential for leadership. So some of us may be leaders in our home. Some of us may be leaders, say, in a club or, some group that we have decided. And then there are others who have the ability to lead, say, a nation or to lead the world. So the first thing that we have to recognize and sort of come to a realization of, what is my grace potential? And sometimes, because we are always looking at, I may not be able to be a world leader, let's just say, use that as an all of us may not be a President Biden or, the president of England or whatever. All of us may not have that necessarily, be able to impact millions of people. but we all have the ability to impact people. So instead of comparing ourselves to others, recognize that we have the leadership ability, recognize the sphere of influence that we have. And sometimes we can even grow that, we can develop that. And then recognize that we have to be representative or be set the standard so that other people will follow us. It's not something that happens overnight, and you can't just show up and say, okay, I'm the leader. Well, you may get some people to, I could show up at your event and say, okay, I'm a leader. And then, maybe some people will follow me. But if they follow me long enough, they're going to be looking for results. They're going to be looking at, okay, how does she do this? Does she have a skill here? Does, she have a success here? And so, leadership is not something that you just step into and say, I am a leader, but you recognize that you have leadership ability, and then you work at developing that. That means understanding what your strengths are, and then also what your challenges are, because we all have challenges. And so it's not so much, we may not be able to overcome all of our challenges, but we can, what I like to say is that you learn how to manage those areas in which you are least effective. For example, for a very long time, I was not good at technology. I still don't like technology, but since I've been on this journey, God said, I want you to stop depending on everybody in the field of technology. I want you to learn, the basics so that you can tell people what you want them to do. Some of my issues was that, I want you to do whatever, but I didn't even know how to tell them what to do. And so it is learning how to manage that. So now I know enough that I can call up someone who has grace in that, who are skilled in that, and say, I need X, Y, and Z. So I'm managing an area that I learned how to do, but it's not my, you know, it's not my lane. And so part of learning, becoming the best leader that you can be, is learning and being aware of those areas that can be a challenge, and that some people may call them a weakness. I like to call them, those are areas of opportunity and challenge that you have to learn how to manage. And as you learn how to manage that, then it doesn't become a stumbling block for you. Sometimes we think that we are good at everything, and we're not. And part of a leader's understanding is being self-aware and understanding their own individual leadership profile as to where you excel and where you don't. And so as a coach, one of the first things that I do is, when I am working with someone or start the process of working with someone, is helping them to identify, what are your strengths? What are those unique skills that you bring to the table that just sort of, pop out, and they're yours, and nobody can take them away from you. You just show up, and that's what we're going to see. And then understanding, okay, how do you build on those? How do you develop those? Because every skill that we have can be developed. And then understanding, okay, where are those challenges or those situations that come up that threaten your ability to lead? Now, what are you going to do so that they don't threaten and derail you? And, asking them to, when working with them, to come up strategies so that at the end of the day, they have enhanced their ability to lead. And, just as a side point here, we all know those areas that we don't do very well. sometimes, we hear the fake it till you make it or whatever, but we all know when we're faking it. So, and when you are faking it, you're not exuding confidence, and you know that you're not on the top of your game. So it's better to figure out what are those areas that sort of distract me, cause me to walk in less confidence, that cause me to second guess myself, and manage those ahead of time before they become a stumbling block.
That phrase,
Mhm,
manage those ahead of time before they
mhm,
become that, you know how many people that has stopped
mhm,
for not managing those inabilities, those
right.
weaknesses. Yeah.
Mhm,
You know how
mhm,
many ladies come to me like, I keep telling my audience, somebody will say, why are you doing this? I'm interested in doing this because after a year of leading a whole hundreds of team of people in network marketing, I realized that a lot of women has potential. To me, they were great, but just that line you said there have put a stumbling block in their speaking, in their
mhm,
leading, in their confidence, and they just, like kind of stagnated because they
mhm.
refuse to manage. Oh my, I love it. I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah.
Carolyn, oh my God, woman of God, what can I say? You have just brought so much light in the room today. And I'm so happy that you said yes to doing this with me. And all the audience, I have one more question for our expert before she get to tell you where she can be found and all that. But I'm telling you guys, I have learned so much in the last 40 minutes that
Oh,
I am so happy that this happened. So I don't know about you. You have to manage those weaknesses before they
mhm,
become a stumbling block to that calling that you have. And some of you
right.
watching is happening already. This is true. It happened to me. And I'm telling you, most of my expert, it happened to all of us. But from the moment we managed it, like, okay, I'm going to manage this so that it won't stop me. That's why we are here doing this with you. So
Right.
I'm going to ask you one last question. Somebody might be asking,
Okay.
okay, tell me. And she's part of Maxwell Leadership. I have something for her. So can you share a memorable moment from your experience as a Maxwell leadership speaker where you witnessed the positive impact of your message on an audience or individual?
Okay.
Yes.
Um, one of the uh, one of the resources that I love to share as part of being a part of the Maxwell leadership team is the tool of DISC, which is a behavioral assessment that people can take. And um, I think it is so powerful or so motivating for me because the first time I took a DISC assessment for myself, it was as if someone had looked inside of my head and inside of my spirit, and they saw what was on the inside of me.
Mm.
And what had been put in this inside of me by God, uh, I had to fight to live that out because I did not fit the mold. I am, if some of your audience is familiar with DIS, D is dominant, I is inspiring, S is steady, and C is competent. Well, I've been a D, high D with some some C. And so I have always been, I used to be called bossy. I used to be told that you always trying to tell people what to do. You think that you have an answer for everything.
Okay.
And you always want to be the one to lead. And what it did is that it sort of stifled what was put inside of me. And so, I would be in an environment trying to live up to someone else's expectations and saying, okay, I'm not going to speak up. I know they're about to walk off the cliff, but I'm not going to say nothing because, I'm always bossy and and so all of these things I would be sitting in the background. And then, there were times when I would pray and ask God, God, why did you make me this way? And I can't live out what you put within me. And when I finally took a DISC assessment, I realized that God did not make a mistake. He made me to be this DC person that I am. And I was so inspired by that at every opportunity I get, I try to help other people to have that same experience. And so whenever I am, in my corporate leadership mode, coaching, helping people, one of the first things I want to do is give them a disassessment so that they can understand who they are and why God made them that way, and realize the impact that they can have in the lives of other people. And really, it's part of fulfilling your purpose. Because if you don't know what you carry, you can't fulfill your purpose. You are missing out on the destiny and the path that you're supposed to follow because you're fighting against what you've been called to. And so, not only in the assessment do you learn what your specific style is, but you also learn how to interact and communicate with other people. And to me, that's one of the most exciting things because now I can look back and see, okay, I should have in this situation, I could have used this strategy to communicate, to keep the confusion or the conflict, to resolve the conflict. And I think it is just such an empowering tool that everybody can utilize, whether it's in your family, it's on your job, if you're in sales, if you are leading a business. I just think that it is just one of the most valuable opportunities that we can make available to people.
This this is, and I love the fact that you do that, because how can you fulfill your purpose when you truly did not know? That is sensitive. I'm telling
Mm-hmm.
you, that is
Mm-hmm.
very, even, hey, all the ladies, and who knows, your husband is there, your relationship is there, your sons are there watching us. How
Mm-hmm.
can you just ask yourself that question as we close in today, right now. How can you fulfill your purpose if you really don't know what that purpose is?
Mm-hmm.
That is a very serious study every one of us should make about our life, even before we start anything. I was
Right.
just there sitting down, waiting for you this morning. And, a message came to my spirit, how to help people who want to start business, not to make the mistakes I made,
Mm-hmm.
in my other businesses I've done in my life. And, this is one of them. Just be sure you're clear in who you are before you
Mm-hmm.
even start anything.
Right.
Seriously, this is,
Mhm.
in fact, I might have a whole talk tomorrow on that. I love it. Anyway, ladies, you know me, I bring joy, and that's what we do.
Oh,
Yeah, we
that's
just want to light
wonderful.
up your day. We want to, know that you had a nice time, which I know this interview has been so packed, like everything you need. Hey, every expert is giving us from where we are now to where we want to be. And that is the whole entire thing for us. So with that said, I just want you to let the audience know, in case anybody want to do what you do, how can they connect with you to learn how to, and also, they want to connect just on social media or wherever, and also tell them about your free gift that you're going to be giving them for this summit today.
Yes.
Yes.
You can connect with me. My website is www.carolyn.awarren.com. And my email address is carolyn@carolyn.awarren.com. And that's CAROLYN, Carolyn. And I'm excited to share a resource with your people. It's called the 8 Ways to Jumpstart Your Success, Unlock Your Potential. So I share 8 strategies that will help women to unlock their success and sort of get them on the right path and have the right mindset so that they can, fulfill whatever vision they have for their lives. And so it's a very practical resource, but it's foundational in that if you don't lay the right foundation, what you build on it is going to crumble. And so I'm excited. And the name of my business is Destined for Success. And one of the things that I always say to people and to encourage them is that you are destined for success. We were all created with potential. We were all created with a skill set, knowledge, wisdom, whatever, we all were created with that. And the reason we were given that is because we were designed to be successful. And that's what coaching is all about, helping people design a path to fulfill their assignment and be successful. And so that's why I love it so much.
Love it. I love it. There's something you said about coaching earlier, that you, not because you went and work on it professionally, but you knew within your spirit the kind of thing you love to do, help people win, help people succeed, just have this thing that just make I want to help you. That's already a coach in you. Now, all you have to do is just go work on it and get, let's say,
Right.
professional certificate. I love it. Let me tell you, I love it. I love it. I love it. Anyway,
Wonderful.
we have come to the end of this interview. And hey, you can't afford to miss the other expert. You know what we call them? They are accomplished, they are winning, and they are women. Come on. So you're watching like, you have everything you need. Hey, if there's nothing else you have, you will hear from Our Lady Caroline today that you have everything you need, like right inside of you. Just touch that part of you that is saying, yes, I can, and walk with that part. Manage the rest places that are saying you can't. Once you manage them, every other can will begin to, people will start seeing it. So, hey, I don't want to just, nothing to contribute by coach. Yes, Lord. So be obedient. If there's not, I heard that. Be obedient. Be quick to say, yes, Lord. Especially once you realize it's God speaking. So once again, I want to say thank you, our coach, Carolyn Warren in the house. And thank you, audience, who have taken time to watch this and also be part of our community. And also looking forward to see every one of you March 6, 7, and 8 as we come to you live. And you are going to have you're going to have the ability to ask on a one-on-one, our coach today question. Yes, I said that. So look out for that email that's going to tell you when she's going to be on the days so that you can be part of this community and just get that burning question out. Yes, get it out and let our coach, he has been, I always watch the 1 minute with Maxwell. So I was like, when I saw you in his inner circle, that's what they call it. Not my, I wanted to say kakos, no, inner circle. When I saw you in his inner circle, I said, "Oh my God, that's a coach I always love to watch, Maxwell." And I was on a program February 2022 in Texas, where he was there live with the guy that did I Believe Nation. The guy David, and it was like I saw him for real. I was like, yes. So yes, I'm telling you guys, I'm excited for this year. I'm excited for you. He's watching us because these ladies want to just hold you by hand and take you to where they belong, where they believe is your promised land. So let's go.
Yes.
Destination, here we come. So with that said, I want to say bye-bye, everybody, and thank you.
Bye-bye, everyone.